destiny, somebody you're supposed to be. Far from the small town, there's answers waiting to be found. So she lies awake, thinking there's been some mistake, crying her eyes out, begging for help. She's shouting, I want a new brain, I want a new heart. I'm sick of feeling, failing and falling apart.
Today we're talking about self-love, self-actualization. We're talking about ego death is something I want to touch on. So in today's fast-paced world, we often neglect ourselves the most. That's something that is like really hits really hard on myself, because I do all this work that I feel like is for me, but then I'm always waiting for gratification on the outside. And then like this subject matter we're going to be talking about today is a little bit about how to foster a better respect for yourself, a better love for yourself, because as many of you know, it was Valentine's Day recently.
Was it?
It was. So
You didn't give me anything.
I didn't get you anything, because honestly the unit of time measurement that we have on this earth is fallible, and human inventions often belittle themselves. And like, why is February the 14th the one day that we can show love? I'm going to show you love every day, CP. I don't need a day. I don't need a day to celebrate this shit.
We don't have a lot going on in February.
We don't. That's true. So I think we need Assuary.
Well, there's that. I'm trying to step out of the box.
Oh, okay. Way. Oh, I see. So like we could have something else going on in February instead. Like, how about Self-Awareness Day? Like, that's something where the whole reason I started CNC is has a lot to do with self-awareness.
Sorry, I was like, why am I hearing static in the background? I had your audio kind of on.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Proceed.
Yeah, I started this sort of just as a way to sort of help myself think through some of my own shit, and then I've discovered so much about myself from starting CNC and trying to like really foster just expansive creative thought, and then share it with everyone who wants to hang out.
I would say if you're someone who likes to think a lot and be existential and question reality, and also want to find more about yourself and do things like practicing self-love like we're talking about today, you can hang out with us every Friday and we talk about this stuff. But just as a service to you as viewers, I as doing this, I don't know how you feel, Space Viking, but this is great. Just having another person who thinks like you, who has the ADHD thing, having that same vibe. I would suggest, if you're that type of person and you don't find you're hanging around with all those type of people, get at least one in your life. Get yourself a Space Viking and
find a Space Viking. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of Space Vikings out there. We came to Earth. I'm the 42nd one.
Oh yeah.
There's many more. They don't number themselves like I do. I love the number 42, so I've numbered myself. I sort of put it out there. So I'm gonna refresh the timer. We're on a schedule today because CP's got somewhere to be. So we're gonna be doing some sort of like fast acting subjects here.
Yeah, and if you guys are bummed, like, oh, this is gonna be cut short. This is I'm not going to get a pizza. Let me tell you, I'm going to a funeral, so I got a good excuse to get out early.
You're not getting a pizza?
I did get pizzas. Abso got us a breakfast pizza yesterday. It was a great start to the day.
Oh, awesome.
And I don't know if you noticed in the background, you see in front of the Terminator machine over there, there's a heart pizza. And Oh, there's my heart right there. Here
Aw.
she comes, Wednesday Adams.
Emily, the heart pizza. Thank you for displaying for us.
It's the butt too.
It's a butt as well. So this
So
is
what-
Emily made this for you for Valentine's Day?
No. What this is a pizza that is modeled after the last pizza Abso and I had before we went into pandemic mode.
Oh,
We got a heart-shaped pizza from a place called Kushnock. It's a great pizza place in Maine, and they had cupped pepperonis and basil and hot honey and stuff. But these have like some jalapenos to show
my
you
God.
that kind of spiciness.
that's
This
amazing.
was made by our friend
Oh.
Sonnet.
Oh,
Sonnet
Sonnet
made
made that too?
Sonnet made
Oh
this
my
too.
God, I'm so glad you guys have commissioned her.
It's a big thick boy. And so what this is going to be is a mat we're talking about Valentine's Day in the month of February. So every February, the pizza heart comes out and it comes as a mat, and all the pizza cats that I have congregate pizza love
Oh,
every
they-
February.
Pizza love.
Because I have a pizza cat over here. I have the first one, but each arcade cabinet will have its own pizza cat representing it, and then they'll come out and they'll congregate. And I check out Sonnet of Silence if you want this kind of stuff.
That's brilliant.
I'm always doing a Sonic commercial. I think she should like sponsor us.
she,
Like I think we should work stuff that out.
she also needs a sponsor though.
Yes.
So I'm gonna refresh the timer and we'll start our first flash.
Could you heat me up a cup of coffee?
First blast, mind blast. We'll call it
Right.
mind blasting. This
is
this segment is called mind blasting. CP,
blasting,
CP. I'm gonna level with you. I already forgot all the names of the segments that we talked about.
Thanks, Mike. My therapist tells me
Two of
that's
them.
something that I don't do. You gotta write it down, dude. We gotta start.
I did. I forgot. So, CP, I forgot I wrote it down. I did write it down.
Okay, so it's Dig Dug themed.
Right.
Remember?
We have Deep Dig. We have Breaking Ground.
See, you didn't forget.
I did.
And
I
the
wrote it
blast-
down.
The
Oh
power
my
blast
God.
or whatever.
Yeah. So the
Now we're talking about all this shit. They're trying to put a fucking quarry in beside my house. We're talking about digging in the earth. Oh, triggered.
Well, I don't. Are we
No.
giving it energy by doing that?
I don't give a fuck, dude. It's probably gonna come either way, and I'm gonna move. So, oh well. It's just the path of my life. I'm fighting while I can, but it's ironic, isn't it?
Well, you actually. I love how our brains work in such conjunction that you often lead the podcast into the subject matter like so easily.
It's how my brain flows.
So our
it has to.
first our first subject is actually how do you level with yourself and let yourself sort of just be and allow your life to just go in the directions that it's supposed to go in, and that like you need to just, you know how there's lots of people out there, they say, oh, I'm such a fuck up, oh my God, I'm so stupid, they say things like that a lot.
Yeah, me.
And that's like incredibly negative self-talk, and that's you not recognizing that not everything is your fault.
And sometimes you can be so conditioned for negative self-talk that it's the only thing inside of your head, so you don't know how to motivate yourself. So what you do is you start using the self-talk that you learned from older people, your grandparents, parents that were talking shit, and then you're like, how do I go? Oh well, you better fucking do it, dude. Or, you know, I got one little Hogan there for a minute there.
Yeah.
But it's just a habit these days. And you just have to motivate yourself. So you're like, I've said stuff to myself, I will do this even if it kills me. If it kills me, it's worth it. Like, I'll say extreme shit. I'll die doing this fucking project. I don't care. And then I'll say stuff like resentful stuff. And I'm like, and then they'll know how hard I worked and appreciate me because I fucking died at my craft. Like, very hardcore, resentful, angry speech that I learned. And it's not just the ADHD. Like, just dealing with that has allowed me enough time to sit and think about this and be like, damn it, this is going to be a lot of reconditioning. So the question I ask, Space Viking, how do we do that? How do we stop being like, you piece of shit, get up and get out of bed, versus like, get out of bed, it's going to be a good
Yeah.
day and you deserve to have something good here, like, and
Yeah.
it's there's space for you and you're not just working against
Well,
everybody.
like I've started going back to the gym recently,
Good.
and
Cool. You look
it's
swole as hell. I'm horny looking at you right now.
thank you, I appreciate that. I
I mean,
I
I'm hoping
discovered
to get your
a
physique and going to the gym.
it's like it's a trick though. Like your brain will say things that you want, and you'll agree without even, it's like a subconscious agreement. And that's where you have to draw the line. And you have to like actually have conversations with yourself in your head and say, actually no, I want to go to the gym. I actually want my life to get better progressively. And then your brain will say, no, you want to lay down. You just worked all day. You want to do this. You don't want to have that healthy food. That doesn't taste great. You want to have the shitty food. And like treating yourself with respect is where I think it starts, is being like, if you can respect yourself enough, then you can say, actually, no, I want the good outcome. I want the better outcome. And you have to have that conversation with your own brain, because it's going to try to tell you that you want the easiest, the tastiest, the best of everything. But the actual negative outcome of those supposed better things isn't actually better. It wants the immediate gratification versus
where I think get into this with the Dreamers Arcade kind of ideology and the gloom.
Interesting.
And I guess we're getting married today. Will you be my bride? But it is a little after Valentine's Day. I waited to pop the question, my love. Anyway, the idea of that, it's just really weird, because I think you deserve to have a treat. Like, we're in a society that there's been so much shown. I really just said we're in a society.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
The Joker over here. We're in a society.
We're in a society.
We think if we work hard, especially doing something we don't like what's the point of our life at the end of the day, other than to reward those activities for maybe the job we don't like or the obligation that we had to do. It's like, well, where's the me time? And a lot of times it isn't that self-talk or that relaxation or something simple, overly complicated, and it's usually associated with purchasing something and giving yourself food or some, maybe a drink or a smoke or a thing that you buy that you do ritualistically to be like, okay, pat on the shoulder, you did a good job, CP, you got to do it all over again. And it kind of, I think, fights that monotony, but it's a gift and a trap at the same time, because if you're saying like, I want to get in shape, and you have to ask, what's the intention? That will help the journey. But if you're like, no, I deserve to have a giant pizza, and I worked hard, but can you have both? Can you say like, you deserve to have a nice slice of pizza and maybe go for a walk, and that'll counterbalance, because you're gonna go for a walk because you want to get toned up, you want to hike a mountain, like you set yourself or get a bike, set yourself like why you want to lose weight, other than the fact of like, I have to lose weight just to be like normalized.
Well,
yeah,
there's gonna be a different way to lose weight for everyone. So like the having a piece of pizza, I've heard many different conflicting things in the health world. That it's been my experience based on my body type and how my brain works, how my body works, etc. And that's personally for me, because it's gonna be different for everyone. That I actually can have that slice of pizza. I need to have only one, and then I do need to go for a walk, do something active, take care of, like maybe do chores. It's amazing how many calories you're gonna burn just cleaning your house.
Yeah.
Like, And it's like if you don't want to leave the house, if it's say it's too peoply, like my brain yesterday, for instance, I did not go to the gym last night because I was just like, I'm so done with society. I'm staying home. I'm gonna have some food and do a live stream. And what I did instead was I did 10 push-ups, I did the dishes, I vacuumed, I cleaned the bathroom, and then I started my live stream. And it felt the same as when I would go for a workout because I did it fast and I did it like thoroughly, and it was really physically exerting.
Awesome.
That's like, and that's sort of a mental health thing too, because then when I woke up this morning, I would go into my kitchen to make the coffee, and the dishes are done, and my brain just like a weight just off my brain.
Yeah.
So that's another way that you can love yourself. That's a huge way that you can love yourself, is you can set up your day to allow yourself for personal and physical expansion and growth. Like actually set up your days to be something more every day instead of just, oh, I'm just existing, I'm just surviving.
Yeah, I love that idea of carryover where you do a little bit more each day. It's maybe not, we have a big expectation, especially people with ADHD, like I need to get in shape, but it's like, how long did it take you to get out of shape? And how much commitment was it to sitting around gaming and eating crap food?
Mm-hmm.
Hours and hours. And to expect like it to just flip back is unrealistic. So
Yeah.
that expectation, like, how do you do something just a little bit more better? It's like if I'm not working an hour at the gym, or I can't go for a say 3 mile walk or something, do a short burst. When I first started walking during COVID, I couldn't walk for crap, and then I started walking a little bit every hour, and it would equal the 3 miles, but I didn't do it all at once. Here and there, grabbed it where I could throughout the day, which is not an ADHD concept. It's like usually it's like, now let's do this, now let's do this, now let's, to actually just be like, I'm gonna take a break and walk for a few minutes and then come back. It's really relaxing and in control because it's like, oh, I didn't make it too hard for myself.
Yeah,
Doing that kind of stuff helps. Realistic goals and milestones. Eat a whole pizza every day if that's your jam. Next time you get a pizza, you eat one less slice, and you walk a little bit after you've eaten the pizza. If you don't walk like 50 feet, I don't care. But then the next time you get a pizza, even if it's like a slice and a half less, you just keep minimizing, and then your body's going to respect that more, and you're going to be able to accept it more than be like, I'm not going to eat a fucking thing. I'm a big piece of shit. This is what I'll tell myself sometimes.
That's something that again, I'm not an expert. Neither CP or I are experts in most of the things we talk about. But I have noticed that for my body, if I go the starvation route, my body goes into survival mode, and my metabolism actually gets heavier. Like if I'm in that survival starvation mode, I could eat a crumb and I will gain weight so fast because my body is just, oh, I need to save this. He hasn't eaten in a long time. I need to save all of this. Like we think that we're in control of our body, but it's actually 99% of our body does what it does without our control.
Yeah, it's amazing what I'm finding by understanding your body too. If you're someone who is easily seduced by novelty,
all the time.
Yeah, and it's really easy to get caught up in these negative behaviors and not know how to break down these small short-term things, but also to understand inner workings of yourself and your body. I started doing breathing exercises, speaking of self-care, at this time last year, and I continued to do that, and it's made major jumps. Like just stop and take really deep breaths, really pull in the abdomen, push the air, feel the flow, to sit in restful position. I'm not saying like
actually
people think like you have to have super posture and things. I just lie down on my bed sometimes and let the air flow through my body and get to my muscles, and you feel so good, and that's so beneficial. Just doing something simple like that.
I'm gonna pause you a little bit right there. I actually want anyone who's watching right now that has interest in sort of how your mind and your body works. I want everyone to actually practice that, what CP just said. Like, sit down and take a 30-second breath. 15 seconds in your nose, 15 seconds out. Yeah, let's do it now.
So we're gonna. So you
And
lead it up, man.
if you close your eyes, okay, close your eyes. It actually enhances it, at least for me.
Get a good
It'll be different
posture.
for
I would
everyone.
Sit up straight, shoulders
Yep.
back.
And you want to breathe into your chest, not into your stomach. Like if you just breathe into your stomach, it actually slouches you, and that takes your whole energy into a different space. You just count 15 seconds with the breath in. Hold. 15 seconds out. And that always equalizes me a bit. That may not
Makes me
have,
yeah, it makes me feel good in the front of my head. Like lightens me up.
yeah. And I realized I said 15 seconds without realizing that everyone's gonna have a different capacity. Myself personally,
Oh,
I do
yeah.
15, but like 5 seconds is fine, 10 seconds is fine. But just as long as you take the time.
And practice.
I've been actually really bad with practicing this. I keep forgetting morning after morning after morning what this does for me, and I don't start my day with that, and I really should.
Yeah, I should too. But you know what we should do? We should never say the word should again. So that's part of self-care, and it's very hard. Don't say should
Oh.
or probably.
Actually, thank
Right.
you. That's something I
Right.
wasn't even considering.
Yeah, it's
There's
hard.
there's
Don't speak.
there's an affirmation side to this that you, instead of saying should, say I'm going to. I am.
Yeah.
I'm getting better. I'm improving. Like
It's
that's
confident.
because I
Confident. Yeah.
I touched on this on another coffee and contemplation with the client I was working with, where he said someone broke the broom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you
and
mentioned it last
and
time,
it's like
oh,
no, just the broom broke. And he's like, no, someone broke the broom, and I'm just like, do you know who broke the broom? And it's, no, I don't know. And then
it was CP actually who broke the broom, because I break all brooms all across the world. That's my jam. But don't tell you. Don't tell somebody.
I need to. When I set up the, I work at a homeless shelter, so when I set up the shelter in the morning and do my rounds, I have to tell everybody CP's coming today. He's gonna break all the brooms. No one take it personally.
Broom breaker. Braun Strowman, the broom breaker. In these hands.
Right, these hands. So I want to reiterate that
Midway point of the segment.
that CP and I are doing this for fun. The only reason I'm speaking so confidently about this subject is that since 2016, I have completely reinvented myself.
Oh, okay. Let's
Like it has been,
let's hear the 1 minute, the snippet in a minute version of
yeah, it has
how
been.
you improved yourself in 8 years.
So I was, let's say, mildly racist. I didn't.
Oh my!
I didn't. I say mildly. Here's the thing. I would still say things that I didn't understand what I was even saying because I didn't know the background of it.
So you were accidentally racist through etymology or terminology.
Thank you. Yes, that's a really good way to put it. Because my dad had these jokes that I just always repeated and never really understood completely. And then like I was awful with my eating habits. I was completely and utterly codependent in every relationship that I was in. Like it was the only reason I was dating was because I felt like I was supposed to be, and that my worth completely depended on me having a girlfriend.
Obligated.
Yeah, there was so much, and then there was a huge aspect of the fear and the insecurities were stemming from sources that I did not yet understand either. And my life just kept going into these patterns that my life was living me. I wasn't living my life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. That's very much what happens to the ADHD people. Like, you do get confused on what you're supposed to do, what your role is, what you want gets pushed out the window. You start doing obligatory things, and then one day somebody goes, "What do you want?" And you go, "I don't fucking even know. I stopped asking myself that question."
Yeah. I used
Because
to
it was too
say,
much. I had too many options.
I used to say, why me?
Yeah.
All the time.
Oh, sad boy. That's why
Or
you like
me.
sad girl.
Sad boy. Yeah, no, we touched on that in our little introductory, like, talking to each other before it started. That I used to like seek out women who were more depressed and more broken than me, so that I could feel better.
Oh, were you a fixer?
I
You
was.
wanna
The thing
couldn't
is,
help
I didn't want to fix them because then they'd become less broken
no,
than me.
You wanted them to fix you, but they were more broken than you, so they couldn't do that. Is that what
I
happened?
thought that by teaching I would also become better.
Oh, that's a probably logical fallacy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing where instead of becoming better, I would just become more comfortable in what I was with this
We all
person.
got-
There was a since we're on the subject of Valentine's Day, I'm of course not gonna name names. But I was dating this woman that I had just started getting better. Like, I started realizing some of these problems, right? And I was still dating this woman, and I was trying to get her to follow me. Like, I don't want you to fix me. I don't want to fix you, but these things are helping me. Maybe they'll help you. She just was not getting on board, right? I was going to the gym. I never smoked anyway, but I was avoiding like unhealthy habits. And I was starting to lose weight at an exponential pace because my life was starting to improve. And you just kept making choices that were not in line with that. And I'm like, I want someone who's going to grow with me.
You think you made those
and
decisions though consciously to
Well,
sabotage the relationship?
I don't even know. But like, here's the
Is
kicker.
that something-
Just
That's
to,
something that I would do.
yeah. But to put it in perspective, this was the first woman that I broke up with instead of she broke up with me.
Oh, someone's got some big balls now.
Well, that's what you say that. That's also something we can touch on. Our society, like, it was a healthy choice for both of us. Like, it was not necessarily an ego thing. Like, I do want to touch on ego death, but that's going to be our deep dig in 10 minutes here. I don't want to like jump the shark
good,
with that.
'cause that's something I need to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
good.
like
All right, we got
it's
10 minutes of this. So
it was just this moment of realizing that, wait, I know what I want now. That was like a huge light bulb moment of like, I actually give a shit about having what I want. And if you're not gonna be there to help me, then I gotta step away. And it's like, you're not gonna want to be with a guy who doesn't want you around, and I'm not gonna want to be with someone I don't want to be around.
you might.
Yeah, but then
might.
they might.
They have
Oh, they
have
might. Yeah, that's right. That's
they have
something that.
problems too.
Mhm.
They might want the guy that's not going to be around. That's
Oh,
shitty to
that's
them.
true. Yeah, and
It's
that's
like
we.
dad was shitty to him, so that's
Mhm.
all they know.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of Sorry, definitely. Sorry, I do mumble sometimes. I apologize. That's that's one of the biggest things I'm working on, especially since streaming, is mumbling too much. And like I have lip muscles and blah blah blah. And remember, I don't know if we were live when we did this, but remember I told you about that that exercise to get your brain and your mouth talking to each other properly? Is
Wait, what was it again?
the quick brown fox jumps over the large brown log.
Quick brown fox jumps over the large brown.
Log. Yeah.
Quick brown fox jumps over the large brown
Oh.
fox over the large. Oh,
Now it's also one of the sentences that uses every letter of the alphabet, I believe, and that's why they use it for typefaces to see like what each letter looks like.
oh,
That's where I initially got it, but I found out that saying it helps my brain
Useless fact of the day right there from CNC.
We love
know.
our useless trivia. So
Because,
CP, I've been.
we're full of that, so we'll throw it in there with our good stuff in the meantime.
So CP, did you also have many? You're around 10 years older than me, right?
I will say that, but yes.
I just wanted to know if, like, did you also have this moment in your life when you were like, I don't like any of this. I want to change this shit.
Did I ever, or am I perpetually having that moment?
Well, I love that you said that, because you once you hit that moment of wanting to change it and you stop just existing, you become a main character instead of an NPC. and then it is perpetual. You're right. That's you jumped right into where I was going with that. I love that.
I'm a mind reader. I recognize patterns with my hyper-fixated ADHD brain. Look out.
Yeah.
I'm learning about myself.
So if you start that process, it's hard to stop it. And there's been days when it is so exhausting and difficult that I wish I could go back to the blindness, to the, I don't know how else to describe it. Like there are times when it's so hard that I wish I could just go back and stop thinking and stop analyzing and stop like trying to fix myself, because sometimes what I try doesn't work and it gets difficult.
Yeah, I have two responses to that. One would be scene in the first movie, The Matrix. There's a character who's the Judas character. They call him Cypher. Lucifer, you could derive from, played by Joey Pat, great actor, and he goes to the agents and makes a deal to be put back into the Matrix. And he's talking about the stake. He's like, does my mind tell this? I don't know. He's analyzing it, and he's like, then he tastes the flavor, and he's like, but oh man, all I know is like ignorance is bliss. So he just wants to go back in, is shut off.
Right.
Even though he knows the truth, because the truth is so overwhelming. I just want to go back before all this was in my head. So that's like a great example for like wanting to reject. And then I also did a religious Bible study at a point in my life, and learned about Catholicism. And the guy who was going through the class was a guy like us, dude, like nerdy, smart dude. And I go, well, what was it for you that I had to ask everybody? Like, what made you decide to embrace Catholicism? Because I found out he was a philosopher in a sense. And he goes, honestly, I was probably gonna end my life. Like I was in such turmoil by thinking too much. I just needed something to focus on, and this is easy. The guy who's teaching me about the religion straight up told me, like, I am so clouded with all the stuff because I have so many ideas. I just wanted to sit in one concept at this point in my life so that I could enjoy it, because it was just overwhelming. So that was the choice, much like Cypher made in The Matrix. Ignorance is bliss, and not that that is an ignorant ideology. It's just sometimes some things are easier. Talk about the weather, or to small talk.
Yeah.
Before.
I legitimately despise talking about the weather and small talk in general. Like I cannot. It's not that I can't. It's that, like, as I'm doing it, I'm thinking, who doesn't know already? Like if you stepped outside your door and you went to your car and you did some stuff, and then you encounter a person, you've already had those thoughts, and you've already thought about, oh, it's this weather, it's that raining. It's like when you enter that conversation with that person, I want to know. I want to know how your day is. I want to know like what happened to you today that was interesting. Like give me like something I've started asking people is I actually picked this up from a self-help group I was a part of for a couple months. You start asking people, "Hey, what's your number out of 10? Like where are you at?" And because that removes the, "Hey, how are you? Oh yeah, I'm good." That actually gets your mind thinking, I actually feel like shit right now. Like I'm at a 1, you know, or like I'm at a, or maybe you're at a 10, and like I want someone to tell me why they're at a 10. I want them to tell me like, oh my god, this happened to me today. I'm like, oh shit, that's awesome. Like the human experience, you know, and like what causes us to devolve into, hey, it's raining today. Yep. Yep. Raining
Because
today.
everybody can accept that. I can't
Oh.
walk up to a stranger and be like, "How's your dick swinging, Hank?" I can't do that to a stranger. You know, like there's certain things that are inappropriate, and there's certain things that are
That's-
just
Well,
not like I can't be like I can't see an 80-year-old dude be like, "Dude, are you playing that that new fucking I don't even know." See, I'm getting old. I don't even know what's the hot shit these days. You know, you're playing the new game. He'd be like, "What?
what now?
You on
Well,
Twitch? You on
yeah.
Twitch, buddy? You want to watch my Twitch stream? Let's go find some 80-year-old dudes and
Yeah.
ask them if they want to subscribe to. Actually, they might, because they're
Mhm.
if they're sitting at the home, they might like this kind of shit. So tell your grandpas, everybody out there, sign in. They can laugh at these guys like these guys don't know anything.
Right. Oh.
You know.
Okay, we gotta dial it in a little bit here.
Yeah, we're coming to a close. On
We
the,
exist.
self-
We exist in a weird world where we don't have the ability to everybody's mind. So like when you encounter a person in the wild, they might not have done the work. I think that's what you're getting at there. It's like you can't expect every person to want to have these conversations.
and recognize patterns and simplicity too is also what
Yeah.
a point that I'd like to bring up. Just simply, I was walking the other day and there was a old woman outside, and she's like, "Oh, I got some snow. It's for sale." Funny little joke. That's something that people say. "I got plenty of snow for sale," and I said, because it was a warm February, I was like, "Yeah, I was like, that's good. I think the sun is gonna buy up a lot off you today, and you're gonna do well."
That's clever.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." I was like, "It's pretty warm for February." And she's like, "Oh, we're not out of the woods yet." And I'm having this conversation, and now I know where she's at. I know who she is. I know the person. And I walked by, and I was in a bad mood. A tear came in my CP had a little tear in his eye because I lost a little love in the human interaction for that moment, because it was like that person wanted to reach out to me, but they were miserable. And I could tell you that automatically. I didn't have to say, "How are you doing?" I just said, just the nature of the snow and the way the 3 sentences we said together. This person wants to argue with me and they're upset.
Yeah. Oh, you can always tell.
Yeah.
That actually does kind of bring us to the next segment as well.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're not going into the deep dig. We're
He's
entering.
even drinking his coffee.
We're into the deep dig here.
We're into the deep dig. We still have plenty of time. Isn't that for the end, or?
No, the end is called the palate cleanser.
Oh, okay.
The deep
Facebook is clearing all this.
the deep dig is where you remember the last deep dig we had when we talked about your inner Hitler. Everybody has one, and you have to fight it constantly because it's intrusive fucking thoughts like, what if I did this today, and maybe that'd be the right thing to do, but there's going to be a million people that say that's not the right thing to do.
Yeah, and you must have like such an imagination. You just have random dark thoughts, and they upset you. You're like, I could just go in there and blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna say it, but it's like, why did I think of that horrible thing? Like, am I crazy? But it's just an imagination.
No, you're not crazy. Nobody's crazy. Everyone just has an inner dialogue that is inherently curious about, like, society has these rules and these boxes that it puts on you, and like back in caveman days, if Grog across the river says like making side eye at you, you could just throw a rock at him. there's no fucking like laws, you know.
Yeah.
And our brains are still that brain, is what I'm saying. Is that our brains are 200,000 years old, and because of technology, they haven't had to adapt in a natural way. So they're essentially still the same brain that cavemen had, but now we got machinery and shit. Hold on, let me restart the timer. So this is gonna be the deep dig of like, why do we even have an ego? What's the actual function of the ego?
No, I'm a big hairy dude, but I think I'm a little bit more evolved from the caveman. Like to say.
Well, see, the caveman was still man. Like, just picture you without any technology. All right, the best way I can express this, I love this phrase, or this it's a kind of an idiom, right? We're now entering the deep dig with this idiom. So
Deep dig.
your genetics and the natural world want you dead at 40. And anything better than that is because of science and technology.
Scary, dude.
And like, it's not necessarily that we like need science and technology to survive. It's all about improving our lives and making them last longer and doing more with our time. Like, and that's kind of a fallacy too. I recently learned that the average human back in caveman days only actually worked about 20 hours a week. But we spent our time doing like a lot of different things. Like what was considered working, you know, like if you consider like making beads for your tribe, that would be kind of working, right? But not really, because you're not out doing it for survival. The actual survival stuff only took about maybe 20-30 hours a week. Because like when could you actually, you didn't have electricity, so like when could you actually do the hunting? Literally only in the daytime. So as soon as it got dark, you're done. When can you actually do the gathering? When it's daytime. Like you didn't actually work that often, and once you gather like enough food for the whole tribe, like, are you gonna work every day that week when you have enough food and you have to use it up, and you have to cook it, prep it, like all that stuff, right? So how we use our time has essentially changed so much since then as well.
Yeah, and it's hard to contextualize that type of lifestyle considering it's so far removed from ours, and the responsibility of domestication, which I've talked about before, and having to maintain and keep things, to keep the lights on,
Yeah.
to keep things stored. They were in such a day-to-day lifestyle. Must have been just a flow. You know, they're working by the light of the day, and they're not preserving a lot of stuff, but it makes them incredibly vulnerable, but it makes them amazingly free.
Yeah.
I see homeless people, and it might be interesting to you. And this ideology we can talk about sometime, but I see people and I'm like saddened sometimes.
Yeah.
I know what I see.
Because like
And
it seems like what an existence that must be.
when we live in Maine, and we get like, I mean, it's warm today for February. It's crazy. It's been almost like 50 degrees. But a week ago it was like minus with the wind, minus 35. And I'm thinking, probably not going to make it. It's a really sad reality
Mm-hmm.
for these people. And we don't have a lot of homeless people in Maine, but throughout my life, it's becoming more and more. And I'm just like, where are they right now?
Right.
Sometimes I think about them.
I mean, break your reality a little bit.
Sure.
There is a shit ton of homeless people in Maine.
No, I know, but the guys I see regularly, and we have name brand homeless guys
Oh, career homeless, yeah.
who are just always at the Rotary, and the dude I see every day, and
Well,
there's a woman
those-
who walks with a cart, and I found out she's not even like, she's just mentally ill.
right.
She's not. She's well off enough to have a place, and her brother kind of looks after her, but she just kind of wants to wander and
Right.
in their state.
So,
And I wonder that, speaking of homeless people, I just want to say the point in what we're talking about is sometimes I look at it and it's like, what could it be a choice though? Like this whole structure of capitalism
yeah.
is enslaving. Are there people who are just, especially when you're young, that just kind of nomadically travel and backpack in a sense across
essentially is
Freedom.
for many people it is about freedom. It's about your choice. It's a choice, but the thing is we need to stop vilifying that choice. I think it's the biggest thing as a society is that there's so many people that want to live that life free of having a home, free of like they want to just live in the woods. It's like if they want to do that, we need to create spaces where they can without while still being a productive member of society, I guess. Like if we want to have a society, but also have these people that don't like the way society's run, then isn't it better to have like a way for them to exist, in a healthy, productive way? But then there's the mental health part. I'm getting too far off subject of the ego death thing, but like I've actually witnessed ego death in uh in many of the clients I've worked with. Like one of them, for instance, we basically he had to fight from the very bottom, and much of that made had to force him to realize that he had been taken care of his whole life and didn't learn anything. And when someone's in their 50s and 60s, they want to assume that they know everything they need to know for life to get better for them. And this guy was completely, for lack of a better term, he was not capable of functioning in society at all because he had mother, girlfriend, wife take care of everything in the house, and he would only be with a person that would take care of everything. He like always set himself up to have that cushion. But once he lost it all, he really lost it all. He didn't know how to spend money. He actually was pretty well off before it happened to him. Like he actually had a lot going for him, but then once he had to keep control of it all himself, so the ego death we witnessed was him realizing that. His realization that, oh shit, I don't know anything. I don't even know myself. I don't even know what I want. I don't even, and like this was one of the hardest conversations I've ever had working for this organization, of witnessing this guy, his whole reality just explode in his mind, and him realizing that he had a lot of work to do. And like, you know how men tend to avoid crying, they don't want to cry in front of people. Like he was fighting it hard, and that was why it was so hard for me to watch. And like I remember going to my boss and saying, I have to step away, I care too much about this client, I need someone else to talk to this client instead, because I'm going to make decisions on this client's behalf from an emotional standpoint, and I can't do that anymore. So I don't really have the details of how that ended up, and I of course can't talk about names, I can't mention places. But the biggest thing that came from this was I also realized I had gone through that. I had many tear-filled nights of when I also murdered my own ego.
Yeah, that I'm really silent and caught up into it because it does like interest me and hits home a lot because I'm trying to sort that out inside of myself too. The idea of what my own ego and my own perception of myself doing to me, and there's a bunch of things at my age. It really does fuck with your head where you're like, oh man, how did I not know that? How did I not see that
Mhm.
that situation? And you're just too invested into it, and it's
Yeah.
really it's
So
brutal. It's hard because it weighs so heavy, and when you find out there's like a major step like that you have to sort through, tiring. Ah, dude, this is only
so
level
like
3.
you So just for those wondering, I actually had someone on Facebook I saw was asking what is ego death, and it was someone who I considered to be very like in these circles, like knowing what all this stuff was. So I'm gonna explain to viewers that might not know. Ego death is a complete loss of subjective self-identity. So like you still know who you are, but you don't you realize that everything has been outside of you for the most part. It's a loss of subjective self-identity. Like you thought you were in control, but you really never were. Um, it's used in many intertwined contexts with with related meanings. So it's still a bit cloudy. But again, this is my knowledge of it. And Eckhart Tolle wrote quite a few books, but this was actually a list that they wrote of how to free yourself from your ego armor. Number one is observe your mind. Number two is distinguish between the voice of ego and the actual situation. So most people have an inner voice. Sometimes it's actually a voice, sometimes it's images. There's a handful of people out there, I want to say a smaller percentage than usual, that have nothing. Like no inner monologue. They have to actually speak in order to have a monologue. Let go of limiting stories. So I'm stupid, I'm too weak, I'm too like this is too hard, I can't do this, I'll never be able to do that, oh, that's not for me. Limiting stories, right? So bring in your awareness. This is something that is where my ego death started. Like this, I don't think this is actually in order for everyone. Like it could be a different order for everybody. Bring in your awareness. So like look around your life, look around what you're doing, look inside your own mind and be like, what is causing the patterns that I don't actually like what I'm doing. I don't like the decisions I'm making. Like many of the video games that I've been playing, for instance, I didn't even really like. I was playing it because my friends were playing it. I was playing it because, oh, everybody's doing it. I was playing it because the world was obsessed with the game at the time. Or it was in the news, right? It's like, oh, it's in the news, I should be doing it too, if it's in the news. And you start to realize, wait, that's not actually my thing. I don't actually want that. I don't actually care about that. And that was the biggest step for me. Number 5 is lay down your weapons. So we're on the defensive, we're on the offensive, but sometimes you don't even need to fight at all. And sometimes no one's actually fighting you, but you're just afraid that it's happening. And you gotta have those weapons. You gotta have everything ready, right? You're gonna be on the ready. Oh, no, just put it down.
Wow.
These steps I definitely agree with. But
this is what happens, guys. You see what's happening to CP when
I do.
When you get a new piece of information and it starts to settle in, it will just start sacking the energy out of you. So don't think that like, oh, why did I get so tired? Because some of it's avoidance, but like it does initiate a part of your brain where you're like, oh wow, there's something there.
Mm-hmm. And these are, I mean, those are the steps that I took to start this journey. It's now 2023, and I'm still walking. The horizon keeps moving. Whatever this planet I'm on of self-awareness and self-discovery is definitely a sphere. And there's countless places and regions that I have yet to explore.
You bring up the ego death and things like that because I'm like questioning that inside of myself. But I talked to a clinician the other day and we went through some stuff, and I don't remember the first thing that he said.
The first thing on the list, I can reiterate.
What the guy I talked to said, talking about the way that I perceive reality.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the information, behaviors that I was given, and we were talking like, like I can be a real ball buster, and we were talking about that earlier.
Oh yeah,
I gravitate towards that, but there's a reason for it why I'm like the roast master, and I can just be like, dude, fucking care. Like it's cold. I come from a very, very cold world, and it affected my perception of reality even still. And the guy I was talking to goes, you might have a condition called dysphoria, or there was some other thing too. And dysphoria is a state of unease or generalized dissatisfaction with life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just get stuck in it. And it doesn't matter what's going on, the way you twist the perception to create the state of dysphoria based on certain amount of information in your head. And he gave me this and something else, and this is something that I will now take and learn about, talk about in the future. But it's crazy to me that get so caught up in something and be like, I'm telling myself a broken story based on something that started 40 years ago. And I'm recontextualizing how it started as an adult. It's so confusing. And now I'm getting information from people of what I was like as a kid. And you can start to see, I could see the creative CP never wanting to shut down, but I can see the little ADHD kid being very problematic and difficult to deal with. Squirmy, never can sit still. And I found out recently that I used to pour glue on everything at a babysitter's house.
Oh my
Glue on the
God.
hamster cage. I glued the hamster cage together. I glued on the dog, and then my mom, I guess, was like, "Yeah, we don't give him glue," and like the stuff that like I was limited to, and the stuff that I'm understanding from the conversation, I was like, I just wanted to make stuff, always, but I think I always needed attention. So if if you weren't being receptive to me being creative, I just pour glue on the dog because I know that would at least get your attention. I've been doing that my whole life, and I have to break out that kind of behavior. Like, what am I doing to act out for attention, and what's the performance? You know, me, I like to perform, but it's part of the ADHD thing. That's why a lot of people become comedians, and we like, you and I like comedy so much because it feels so genuine. Because, yeah, it's you in the state, you do require a certain amount of attention. The reason we're broadcasting our conversation we could have had in private. We like putting it out there. We like helping, but we also like being here. Like, hey, come
Yeah.
talk to me. I'm here. I exist. I care about you. Care about me.
Yeah, like we can bust each other's balls, but because we know each other so well, we know it's comedy. We don't get offended or upset. It's like, that's another thing about finding people in the wild, right? Where you can't have that kind of conversation with them either. Do you think if everyone experienced ego death, could you have genuine, sincere conversations with everyone? If everyone was able to let go of their sense of self, like, oh, what does this mean to me? Why is this so offending to me? Like, like, if you don't even have expectations of reality anymore, why would something ever offend you?
But your self-preservation and your interaction with other people will become compromised, and your fight or flight brain is going to really not have a fun time with that, because you're going to be leaving yourself constantly vulnerable by putting yourself out there constantly.
Yeah, that's what
you might also engage in something too far. Like, did you watch the show The Sandman?
No, I didn't.
The scene where everybody just becomes whatever, and it's like in a diner, and everybody just starts effing each other and killing each other. And it's like, oh my God, this is not what we should have asked for. Because when you start shutting down those barriers of like what's rules and what's not, like if today everybody could do whatever they wanted, or their inner desire, oh my God, dude, it's going to be 50 good and 50 bad. Most people are probably going to stay inside, and most of the bad's probably going to come out, and it's just going to look like carnage. And just run it in your house. I don't even want to talk about it because it's just too scary.
That is like if there, what are you talking about? Like if there's no rules? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? I'm curious, because like if it's scary, but then at the same time, if people were given complete control of like their own mind without having any prior input governing what they're doing and who they think they are.
Yeah, each individual gets to choose who they're worthy of and who's worthy to live. Like things like that is scary.
Oh,
because
right.
It's a conflict, because it's like if all of a sudden like tomorrow they're like, do whatever you want, do what's in your heart's desire, and it's like, what if I'm a person who really doesn't like that another person exists in their town?
Oh,
well, hey, there we go.
I see.
You know, what if the neighbor's wife, you know, like we just want to do it in the street? Like, is that cool with our respective husbands and wives? And then like they have their own freedom to do whatever. They come out and see that. or do I get attacked and killed? Like done with this dishonor, you know, like now I can, you know what I'm saying? Like how we're not, it's not like we're gonna go out and like ride roller coasters. We're gonna do some, like, get into the core. We're 98% fight or flight animal brain.
Yep.
I think we're gonna sit with those primal feelings. That's why we have rules. We're not ready. We're not ready to be proper. We set the table. You can't just jump up on the table and start fighting and fucking.
Well, what I was sort of getting at though is that some of the laws and rules that we do have to abide by were created because of somebody's ego reaction. They weren't created in a legitimate way. They weren't created with logic and reason. They were created because someone didn't like another person. Some of the laws were created because of the very thing you're talking about.
How so?
Like, so much of the police force was originally invented to gather up slaves back in when they were originally freed, and like there were states that weren't on board with that, and like the original police force, some of those laws in those states are still
our states weren't cool with that.
Yeah,
that's
well,
right. North, buddy. Take that, fucking North.
Officer equals overseer. Oh, Arwen Rose, hello, welcome. You probably have a lot to say on that subject. What timing?
Welcome.
Arwen Rose probably knows even more than I do about this very subject that we're talking about, how a lot of laws were created because one group did not like another. And they were purely based on ego. They were purely based on preconceived notions that were built up over time from a family dynamic or from a societal dynamic that only served one group. It's really hard to touch on this subject without getting specific, but anyone who's listening who cares about this subject knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Sorry, police. We know you're just there.
And they're
to keep the poor under control.
Yeah, and
that's it.
Yeah,
that's all it is, man.
You know, we do. It's so hard for me to go all one side or all the other side on that. It's honestly too black and white because I work.
They said all they do. That was my extreme thought. I don't
exactly.
really believe that. But that was.
Yeah.
But they do like impact. Like it is the life of policing impoverished generally or frustrated minorities and shit, and it's like it sucks. Like,
but with not too much time left, I don't want to dig deep on this subject. We can we can do that another time. Societal dynamics could be a whole nother podcast, a whole nother episode. But for now, I want to talk about how these people who are making these laws could benefit from an ego death. They could benefit from looking at things a little bit more broad and seeing things less from a place of personal experience and more of a place of universal experience. Like this together, everything should probably be sort of equal or at least equitable across the board. And right now it's just not, because so much of this stuff is based on ego. It's based on, I think this, and I'm going to gather a group that agrees with me, and that group is going to vote on this, and it's going to get passed. And now we have a whole bunch of egos all putting energy into something that, you know, again, not again, sorry, I haven't. Yeah. I also want to explain that like ego often gets put as a bad word. It's not bad to have an ego. Everybody has one. It's not good to be egotistical. That's the major thing that why it gets a bad rap. The word ego tends to be a negative word when it's actually people who are egotistical, not great. Having an ego, perfectly fine. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, that's good you do, because I get confused.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna like. Here's my ego. I'm smart.
Yeah.
I can say that about myself. Like,
yeah,
I'm a genius, but I'm smart. I know a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just fucking went dumb. What was I saying?
You just now went dumb. See, like, but you recognize that. So there are people that will hit that moment. That wall you just encountered, that mental wall that I'm sure everyone encounters it, but people who are too trapped in their ego will continue saying things without having the thought completed. Like you lost your thought, and then they'll just keep going, and it's like, wait, what is he saying? You've probably encountered this. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and you just were talking about information. I get confused is the problem with the way my brain works. That's why I have to know a lot of things to minimize the amount of confusion. So when you're saying things like ego and egotistical, I'm like, well, oh, okay, there is a difference. Thinking ego's bad, then you're differentiating.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's hard for me to differentiate the differences between things that are so close.
Mm-hmm.
Like semantics of a word, ego and egotistical. Like, how does something so slight have such giant impact in meaning? And
Yeah.
I get hung up on that, and then I don't actually know the difference.
So I actually had an ego trip based on that exact thing. I used to want so badly to be right about things and know everything that I would actually come up with story. This was another part of my ego death in 2016 of I wanted to be right about everything. I wanted to know everything, and when I didn't know anything, it caused me great anxiety, and I would just come up with shit. And when you say it, I learned that when you say it with confidence, people would believe you. And even doing Coffee and Contemplation, there's been many episodes where I've had to fight that urge. Like, it's still there underneath. Like, there's a constant improving process of like, wait, I don't know what I'm talking about. I should at least say, hey, I don't really know a lot about this. Like that's the biggest thing is like just realizing I don't actually know what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but I want to talk about it, so I'm going to keep talking about it. I want to make sure everyone knows. I don't know.
I
don't know. Guys,
I'm gonna grab a coffee. So you gotta see this Wednesday Addams that's coming here.
Oh, that's adorable. I love the outfit, Emily.
He's so funeraled out.
So those of you tuning in just the audio version of this, or if you're just lurking and listening, CP's lovely partner Emily is got a lovely outfit put together for
the death of ego today.
Yes, hello. This is the spirit of ego death.
I want to bring her in for a second.
Okay.
You just mentioned something that's very true. I'm gonna get a coffee and take a quick little break. She had a problem with always wanting to be right, fact checking, fighting that thing you were just talking about. Talk more about that. Abso can add something to that.
Did you also have this realization, Emily, that like sometimes you would come up with stuff to fill the gaps when you didn't know something?
Something my whole family does that I had to be like, I don't like that, and take a step back. And I still struggle with it sometimes, but like it's to the point where certain things, like if someone asks me a question and they're like, hey, what does this movie mean? What is this? And it's something where I would have to offer a factual answer. I get so tongue-tied because I don't want to be reprimanded for being wrong.
Oh, wow. That's a whole nother side to it.
Yeah, so I have this whole thing where I'm like, I don't like being quizzed. So if CP's even like asking me a question and it's like, I will get so much anxiety about trying to answer it and being right that like I can't even answer it.
Oh my
God. You can imagine how problematic that is, being married to someone like me, who asks every question ever, and then she's just getting bricked up.
Oh my goodness. I've experienced that, but the person reprimanding me for being wrong was always me.
Yeah.
That was the thing. No one actually ever said, what the hell, you're wrong, you're stupid. But my brain would naturally just go, oh, you're so dumb. Why do they even want to hang out with you? And that was another part of my ego death of realizing, oh, they don't actually really care. They want to talk about themselves. Everyone just wants to talk about themselves.
Yeah, that's a lot of the reason why I'll tend to be quiet if a lot of people are talking because I'm like, I don't know anything that they're talking about, so I'm just not going to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that was a massive realization for me too. For like that, you brought up a whole nother side to it of the family dynamic too. Of oh,
yeah,
they like
it really
my mom was a
is like
librarian, so she had that same thing, yeah, encyclopedia, where she knew so much that I wanted to match her, and especially as a teen, you rebel and you go, no, I know more than my mom, and I never knew more than my mom because she's reading constantly, you know. And that created this dynamic in my personality of always wanting to know more and always wanting to be able to contribute to conversations and have some sort of anecdote or something, anything sometimes. So I would come up with, I don't know how many fake stories about my life I've told people. Like they've never come back to haunt me, these stories I've told people, but I know for a fact in my past I've come up with stories that weren't real just to make myself more interesting or to have something to contribute to a conversation, especially if it was a conversation I knew I would never talk to that person ever again. It was so easy to just be like, here's some fake shit. Because it's a person that I was never going to talk to again. And then lo and behold, I would talk to that person again someday, and they'd be like, how's that game you're working on going? I'm like, oh, fuck. You know? Like, turns out it's a comic book. I would like cover it with something because it's like re-meeting these people post ego death turned into like a really difficult situation of like, oh, I wish I was just genuine from the start. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely it's tough. I mean, that like I said, that's something I still work on. I will like, no, you're wrong, and then like I have to look it up sometimes. I'll be like, oh no, I was wrong.
Mm-hmm. So Erwin
So I
Rose
still do
says,
the other side too.
yeah. So Erwin Rose says, I try to go into conversations sharing that I don't know everything, but that I know what I've experienced. That's a great solution to avoid that in the future. I'm still curious of what I can do to make it easier on like re-meeting these people. It's like some of these people I've actually been able to be completely honest with and be like, oh, I was an asshole back then. That wasn't real. You know, just be completely upfront. Yeah, imposter syndrome as well, Arwen Rose. That's something that as an artist I experience constantly, but then I also do experience it as a functioning member of society of like I'm talking to a dude that knows a lot about trucks and he wants to talk about trucks. I will pretend to know what I know about trucks. Oh, goodbye, Emily. Thank you so much for weighing in.
Yeah, even got you a special guest.
Special guest, absolutely. So that actually does end our segment, though.
Right.
I don't know actually when the segment ended, but it says 0 now. So,
See, that clock helps.
yeah, it does. So I'm gonna refresh the timer. I wish there's a quick refresh option, but not right now. So this is the part of the segment where we're gonna be calling it the palate cleanser. Or
good though, the palate cleanser. It doesn't have a Dig Dug kind of touch.
right,
to
it doesn't have a Dig Dug.
Uh,
Well, what is the
Oh.
section of Dig Dug where
you could call it a tunnel flush.
tunnel flush? We call it the canary.
Oh, the canary.
Oh,
Yeah, anyone knows that? Like in mining history, they used to take canaries down into the mines with them. Why would they do that? Because if they got down into gas level, the canaries would die because they're little, and they'd be like, "Okay, we gotta get out of here, buddy."
the canary's dying because their lungs move much faster than ours.
Yeah, canaries are dead.
No, I can't think of anything that would be Dig Dug themed other than we call it the cave in because we're coming down.
Thanks for reminding me of the canary, though. That's a good thing to
Yeah.
metaphor for the Dig Dug story.
Yeah. So we
Or something.
I think we could call it the cave in. What do you think?
The cave in. Yeah.
Because we had the deep dig, but now we got to come out of it. We got to bury it.
Deep dig. The
I like
resurface.
I like
the
the dig-
resurface.
resurface.
Like
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's actually great. We call it the resurfacing. Resurface.
or like break time. You know, like we go up, we resurface, and have our break.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Yeah.
wait, holy shit! We do tend to end around lunchtime. Why don't we call it the lunch bell?
Yeah. The
Was it a whistle though for mines? I can't remember. We'll
triangle. The
the triangle. We'll shop that. We're running out of time. We got to get into the actual subject
we'll
of it.
that. Anyone has any suggestions? Throw them in the chat, Discord.
Yep. So this is the time when we come out of the deep dig, which is usually something very heavy, very emotional, difficult to get through. It usually expands your brain and consciousness.
Look at butts.
But we gotta solidify our. We did butts last time.
I added more butts. I added so many more butts.
We did add more butts.
I gave you a lot of butts this week. A lot of butts this week. Bonus butts.
Well, we could start with that and just go through the ones that you've added. I'm gonna go to the share screen here.
You guys ready for some butts? These are fucking epic.
That's a great palate cleanser. So, Arwen Rose, you could participate. There's still some days left in the month. This is 20. Wait, what is it? 4 weeks of cheeks?
Yeah, we're on day 17, which is sports. I'm 2 behind, so I have art and sports.
Yeah. So these are butts. Drawings of butts. Every day of the week. Here's the 4 weeks of cheeks. Every day of February. CP's put a challenge together.
I'm giving you a lot of like doubles. Now I'm getting really into the butt butterverse, expanded crack universe.
Yeah. So this is the
into Uranus.
4 weeks of cheeks. Number 1 was butt. We have tail, natural, bubble, booty, junk.
And just to say, I created this. This is my brainchild. This is first year, and there's people participating on Instagram with the hashtag. Mainly me on that end, but I do have other people that have been sharing butts with me via text. I have people via Discord, so I might be able to grab some sampling from some other things and put them on here too, so you can see some other stuff. It's really scary.
Go into the Discord, go to the Gauntlet channel.
Yeah.
And you can check out all the butts here. We're gonna go through them quick, and then actually part of the palate cleanser, I'm gonna do the sports one here on live stream.
Okay.
So I just decided to do that now. So we're gonna go through these pretty quickly. And
I might try to rock one out too.
Yeah, this is a butt as many butts. There are mini butts. There's tiny butts inside this giant butt. That's great. The butt as tail. It looks like a butt with a tail. That is the entire. I like that. That's cool. Like that I could see in an actual art exhibit, and really pompous people with lots of money would just stare at it for a long time and be like, I'm looking for the deeper meaning. And then you would just swagger up and be like, that's an ass with a tail wrapped around it. And they'd be like, oh yes, I see.
Yep.
Or is there deeper meaning, CV? Were you about to interject? Sorry, I didn't mean to speak for you.
No, there could be. I will say that you'll notice a stylistic kind of journey throughout this stuff too, and I've gone to some places that I really am happy to be again. Yeah. Now we get the Copics. I get tired of sneeze. I'm a little bit of a runny nose here. I get tired of these challenges when you see them on someone's page. They all look harmonious. So I wanted to make sure I was getting different like colors.
Yeah, some people do like to do sort of a theme, like from an artist standpoint. Like you sometimes you'll go into this challenge and you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do a theme. I know for one Inktober one year I did I did a bestiary, like a beast, sort of like a journal of beasts on one particular planet. So every day for each prompt, I would come up with a monster that would live on this particular planet, and I did that as a companion to my Space Viking comic that I'm working on.
Oh, that's cool.
So like that's where the challenges can be handy to do a theme. Are you talking about the ones that are like, say they do all geometric, or they do like all like tiny little itty bitty paintings and they're all the same style? I can see how that would get a little tiresome. Did I lose you?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, so I was looking up a image for the drawing today. So oh, there I am.
sorry.
And so the bubbles here, this is where you start to get the two butt thing going on. Two for the
Right.
price of one. You got the object that's a butt, and you got the bubbles that are a butt, right?
Yeah.
And from here on, it pretty much gets to 2 to 3 butts a lot. So I won't tell you where all the butts are, but the butts start representing an object, representing an actual ass,
Oh, God.
sometimes
Yep.
representing the air itself. See, that one had 2 butts, the sand,
Yeah.
and then there's your gloom butt.
Some of
There's
them
our-
they could be balls.
Yeah, and there's our favorite. Look,
Yeah.
you think I'm ugly? I don't care, bitch. I want my money.
Yeah, that's still my favorite.
Nikki and Bobby, and there's Peaches. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
I love the metaphor.
that's when you're starting to get into it a little bit. I actually
Yeah.
went to Wally World and made a still life and photoed it, and then like see how they're kind of like
That's
tattoos.
cool,
but kind
yeah.
of like the words.
Hello, Nika
And then I-
Fernandez. Nika, we're in the palate cleanser segment. Well,
You're
we're
coming in for the butt challenge.
we're gonna call it
so-
something else. So that we're getting silly here. We got the gauntlet in my Discord, Nika. We're drawing butts. We're
Yeah, I'm
drawing
gonna do-
we're
I'm gonna
drawing
do
booty
board real quick.
and yeah. I can't really mince words there. That's pretty. You get it. How you doing, Nika? Welcome in. We're in the silly portion of Coffee and Contemplation. It's still contemplative, but we're getting silly.
It's just more relaxed because we like to, we talk about heavy shit and we like to take it down because. Okay, where we at? Okay,
silly up in here, being a bunch of silly billies.
so
We're on this one's like the most assy one of them all.
they start to really jump off now. This is when I really started to get into it because I brought out
That
my
rendering.
old-
I'm gonna trace it
my
with my
old
cursor
Bic
here.
pencil, mixed it with the ink. We've got a little bit of paint. So we got 3 mediums.
Yeah.
And that is very much, if you were to flip that, you would see it a little bit differently. But it's called backside. So I was thinking of upside
It is.
down, a Stranger Things thing, like 2 different realities flipped upside down, the creepy, spooky swamp, and then the a sinewy, gross version of it, floating platforms. Like, yeah, it was fun. I really got into the landscape, and you'll see landscape really.
Yeah. And then we had the Queen of Dragons posted this one as part of the challenge. I have a couple I could throw in here actually just as my contribution to the idea of drawing more butts.
Yeah, throw 'em in.
I didn't see the comment. Oh, I did see it, but I'm more reacting to it now than I did then, I think. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Because it was
Now that I'm
that was a cake that you
Yeah, we
turned
had
into
a-
a butt.
our friends Stephanie came over and we had a birthday party, a unicorn birthday party with onesies and the last unicorn.
Oh, that's
and
amazing. Oh my
And we did
goodness.
this whole thing, and we had lots of candies and cakes and holographic tablecloths. And that cake was a Fruity Pebbles cake mix. And I
Actual.
figured I'd make my friend a fruity patootie. And it was kind of rich. We still have half an ass
That's
outside
amazing.
that I've been picking at in the middle of the night. And I suggest eating it fresh because the Fruity Pebbles do go stale and it's not too good. But yeah, pick up your Fruity Pebbles cake mix sponsored by Duncan Hines. and make
Lincoln
an
Hines.
ass out of it. They were really beautiful cakes that I made, and I really made an abomination of it.
Now we're into the new ones.
So yeah, so here we're getting some real high level couture.
Fanny.
We got Fanny.
It's
That's a what's that cage called?
bustier.
Yeah, the butt cage. And then I was thinking of like fan cages. Abso and I worked kind of on that idea, and then I started making these like fan elements. Fun. I like how the booty.
A fanny
presses in.
is just a fancy ass.
Yeah, that's couture. That's
For a second there, I thought you made her face look just like Fanny.
Who's Fanny?
Fran and Annie, I think,
Oh,
from the old sitcom. Fran Drescher. I thought that looked a little bit like her, but I wasn't sure if that's where you're going with that.
but now we have structure.
A hoop skirt. Structure. This is a house that's also a butt, and there's a butt inside the window I didn't see until now. There's also a penis.
Where's the penis?
Right there. I'm going
Oh,
around it.
yeah.
That's a vase or something on a shelf, but it appears. I thought for sure
it's the
you
Tim
meant for that to be a penis.
Tim giving the middle finger.
Oh, I
Pressing
see it
his-
now. Okay, I see it now. Okay, yeah.
He's pressing his face to the window, giving the finger. The other
Fran
one's mooning
Drescher,
it,
thank you.
and then they're high-fiving the two. Those are the three little pigs. And
There's
that is
a.
big bad-
Oh my God, you went totally Renaissance painting with this. There's a butt ship in the distance. It looks like, or is that just another butt house?
Those are three butt. There's three butt houses.
Oh, I see the
They go
third butt house now.
way off in the distance.
What is
They're
this?
butt
Is
houses.
this a demon with a butt in the corner here?
That is the big bad wolf.
He's blowing the house down. Oh my God, it's
He
three
had-
little
he had
butt
a hairy-
pigs. It's the three little butt pigs.
then
Oh
you
my
can see the-
God, it took me so long to see this.
I know.
So,
Talking. There's a lot going on in that, dude.
so much. There's a butt even on the plant in the pot.
Dude, they're everywhere.
Holy shit.
The air has butts. The
This is-
wind has.
This is going to be
ass.
an audio podcast, and this is going to just be like us looking at these butt pictures. So if
You just
you
have to go to
like,
Discord.
you got to,
and-
yeah, I'll put a link to the Discord in the audio version as well. I'm not gonna gatekeep the Discord from in a Patreon, but we are gonna probably have a Patreon segment coming up before too long.
Yeah, maybe some more after dark kind of content that we won't put on Twitch.
We are all missing the wind from the butt. Okay, I got you. Yep.
He's blowing right in
Yep.
the butt crack too. So the
Right.
wind's coming back awkwardly, you know. But also, you know what those houses are made out of? Why it won't blow down?
Why?
Because she's a brick.
Oh, ha!
No doubt about it.
That's
Wolf
good.
ain't gonna blow it down. She's a brick. Funny, huh?
That is funny.
The nuance, the minutia. All right,
Here's
we can
this
look at that
one.
one forever. I love it.
Yeah.
Next, we've got buns. Anyone know what this is?
This one was kind of lost on me.
This is Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1990 something. Francis Ford Coppola's version of Bram Stoker's book, made into
Oh.
a cinematic film starring Gary Oldman as Dracula.
Butthead.
One of the coolest things ever. And this is him in his old form meeting with Jonathan Harker to buy Carfax Abbey so that he can get himself out of like Romania and start fucking around in London. And then
Yeah.
that's where the shit all pops off. Well, he had this buns haircut and I loved it. And it was perfect when I thought of buns. And then I was like, well, he has this creeping shadow that moves kind of
Oh.
independently of him a lot. And it's interesting. I was like, what if that shadow kind of made a joke and formed a twerking buns, you know,
Make fun of-
upside down.
Oh, to make fun of his haircut.
Yeah, so his shadow is an upside down twerk position. It's
Mhm.
very obscured, but and he's standing in a projection. This was fun of Carfax Abbey. That's why he's so exposed. And
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
you got-
Yep.
couple butts in that one.
Amazing.
Very fun. That's a pen and Graphite continued. Now, this was a mistake. I kept reading Cheers as Cheeks. I wrote the damn list.
Yeah.
But even with my ADHD, I can't even go by my own list that I wrote. It clearly says Cheeks, but I thought it said Cheers. So I went back to the show Cheers, and that's your boy Norm
Oh my
Peterson and Cliffy
goodness.
Clavin
That's
in my
great.
CP illustrative weird style that I like to mess with. And there's a couple boomer butts for you if you want some. If you're into some male boomer butt, I know there's been a lot of pretty ladies and things, but here you go, everyone. And not only do you get their two butts, you get a butt in the clinking of the two Cheers.
Oh
cups
my
and the
goodness.
and
Oh,
when the foam
and the foam.
together, the foam flips up and makes another butt.
Crazy how many things in life create the shape of a butt.
Everywhere. The butts are part of a
you-
natural flow of life, I'm finding.
Ever since you've started this challenge, have you had trouble with going out and about and you just see butts
everywhere?
you just see butts everywhere now?
I see butt people.
This
Yeah,
one
I'm like,
this
"I
one's
can't-
this one is Cheeks as a butt.
So this one was me redeeming Cheeks, be like, all right, so I'm gonna do Cheeks anyway. I'm not gonna phone it in. But look at this character. Very abstract, illustrative.
Yeah, this is like something I might
pompadour
wow.
mullet. I don't know what's happening. Those sideburns. So you get the highlighted cheeks, but you get the butt chin, the butt lips, the butt. Even the nose gets a bit butty.
The butt hair.
He's just buttoned out everywhere. And
Hmm.
ass, man.
So
Sad.
buddy.
Yeah.
And then we have this butt 14.
And so that was what we showed earlier at the stream. That's me flipping a commission that I had done for Abso for Valentine's based on one of the last pizzas we had before COVID. And it's the spicy Valentine's Day pizza. And you flip it upside down, it's a heart. Upside down though, it's a butt. And nobody said you couldn't commission your stuff too. So you guys have 17 days to catch up with. Just
Yeah.
find yourself some
Arwen,
makers
if-
and pay them.
Anyone watching the stream, if you hop into the Discord, feel free to participate. It's literally just drawing butts. Even if you don't get the prompt right, just fill the gauntlet with butts.
Yeah.
Fill it.
And so there's no medium rules. A lot of
With the
people think
brim.
these are like draw challenges. I'm doing a lot of drawing, but you can see I've used different mediums. I've made kind of sculptural things. Some things are commissions and just real photos. So there you go. You're free to really do whatever you want.
Don't worry about catching up, Arwen. Just do sport. Well, you can do sports right alongside us if you want. We're about to
Yeah, we're doing sport
about
right
to do
now.
it right.
We're gonna do sports right now.
Now.
I've started it. We're running low on time. We got to wrap up here early. Spicy might keep going with art. We'll see. That's up to him. I unfortunately have a funeral to hit out, and I'm a little disappointed because with my brain, you remember I thought we were getting together this weekend.
Yeah.
I realized,
We all did. Yeah, we were like, wait, what? What's happening?
which is fine because I'm actually happy to have the time to decompress after the week I've had. But I was also excited about seeing my family with with the stress of my other family. But I'm glad to have a week off, work on the house, and then I'm gonna see this guy live. We're gonna have pictures in the Discord. Maybe this will start the Patreon. You and I will do like some like really good hugging stuff. Like
Yeah.
really soft, and maybe you guys want to see two of us just showing love.
Showing all the love.
Well, I don't know, but all the love. That
So much
I'm
love.
ready for that. But I'm
Endless. Limitless love.
you doing sport right now? You getting started?
Doing it. I'm loading it up.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm drawing the sport. It's funny what people are gonna come up with.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I'm not a sports guy,
Me neither.
so like, what sport am I gonna do from a guy who doesn't like sports? And not that I don't like sports. I'm glad I never got into it because having ADHD, it's hard to keep up with everything, and that's just another thing to fixate and obsess over that
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would connect me to people more, and I don't mind watching a game just as being casual.
Right. I mean, the biggest issue I usually have with sports is that they're so commercialized now that, like, for instance, watching the Super Bowl was really hard for me. I was just like, this is the epitome of wasting a life. If you spent like only your entire life caring only about sports, because like it's literally just all commercials. It's all commercials. It's all money. It's just people trading money. Very elaborate money laundering. There's so much that I could say that doesn't actually pertain to,
Sports ball.
yeah. And I get I get it because it's fantasy. Like I remember making a couple jokes while watching the Super Bowl. Like, wow, those guys are really into cosplaying as their favorite characters. You know, like there was a lot of like overlap with stuff that I enjoy, but I don't even cosplay anymore. Yeah, he likes other stuff. Like it's all about having a healthy wide range of things. Like anyone who obsesses about anything too much can become very dangerous for their
How
life.
much does the guy like sports? Is it problematic?
Well, she just said he likes
Like
other
what?
things. He likes other stuff.
Oh, well, that's good. So you have to like watch all the games, or like, do you ever see that movie? Oh, what was it? Fever Pitch. You should see that if you haven't seen that, Space Viking.
I
Just
should.
because it's a New England thing. It's
Oh.
it's about when the Red Sox won after losing. Remember, there was like they lost. They had what was called the curse for 50 years, and then the curse of the Great Bambino, and they didn't win, and then they won this one years back,
Mhm.
and Jimmy Fallon, yeah, he made a movie. I think it was him
It was
where he
Jimmy
starts
Fallon.
dating. Yeah, he starts dating a girl, and it's like a perfect relationship because they start dating in the off sports season. He's like, "Hey, I got to tell you, sports season's coming up, and I'm like a little bit into sports."
A little
And then
bit.
he's a fanatic. It's been his whole life,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just about that dynamic. But it's centered also around the year they won, so it's metaphysical.
Oh,
But
I
it's just
see.
it's an interesting like rom-com with humor, and if you don't really like sports, it's worth watching. And if you're from New England like we are, culturally, important enough, because they think, I don't know about down in New Hampshire, but in Maine, like if the Patriots are winning or losing, it has a big impact on people out there in the world working. If you're working alongside people and they're
Right.
it
Oh
can
my
really
god.
bring mood dour.
Did y'all watch the game last night? The foosball game? I did. I watched that game. I tell you what, they sportsed real hard.
Well, and that's the thing, we kind of joke about it, but we're also keeping ourselves away from a connectedness that would be easy, like talking about the weather. See a dude,
Right. That's it. It is a bit, but it's in the same vein to me. Well, for me, sorry. For me, it feels like it's in the same vein as talking about the weather. Like I'm just as bored by talking about sports as I am by talking about the weather. Like,
but if you knew it all like Dungeons and Dragons, you
Yeah.
might not. That's
well,
the thing. They know all those characters, like
right.
they're like,
Yeah. Oh, it's the same thing. Like they just know it all. They know all the characters. It's what they can relate to. But
They
I
play-
do still want to devolve those conversations. I still want to evolve. I want to evolve those conversations. So they're telling me about the sports. And they're telling me about, oh, I went to my family's house to watch the Super Bowl. I will sometimes push those conversations into, oh, do you do that every year? Is that like super important for your family to get together, and like does it feel good? You know, I want to get more out of that conversation still than
and that's
just
probably a conversation that person might not have.
there's a couple people that have been like, oh yeah, well, blah blah blah. They engage, but they also, sometimes they don't want to like actually get deeper into that. They just want to talk about sports guy number 33 that threw that offside pass, and
How judgy he is right now. How mean you're being to those sports ball fans.
Sports ball. You're the one who just said sports ball.
I mean,
I'm kidding. That's not like a who could be meaner about the nonsensicalness of sports.
me.
But
I say me.
it's more just like it's interesting at different strokes for different folks, you know?
Oh, she's popped up in. I live in Mass. Yeah. Okay, so you're there. My boyfriend and mom had a football on Dan. Yeah, that seems like that. My mother-in-law watches those kind of things. Thankfully, my phone and kitties. Oh, you're all set. Yeah, like if there's kitties around, that's all I need.
Oh my god, guys, I gotta show you a picture.
You could do a drop break.
We were watching the Super Bowl, and there was a cat. I gotta bring it up on my messenger, I think. I don't think that I posted it anywhere. But there was a cat that was just loving us. It was like this cat was like, "This is awesome. Everybody's in the same room for once." Like I'm gonna cuddle up on everybody now, and the cat didn't care about the game, you know?
Yeah.
Here it
Hey
is.
man, how do you draw? Do you do general to specific? I want to talk about drawing for a quick second.
Yeah. How do I
Like-
draw?
Yeah, I used to do I used to draw in such a way that was
This
more
is
specific to general, and I used to screw myself over. Now I do like this really
this is the cat.
scribble,
This is
and it's been helpful.
this is the cat.
Oh, what? So who is this? Who is this baby?
Cat. Oh, hold on, it just went away.
Baby?
Why were there two though? That's the thing. Why were there two? Here's the cat. This cat's name, I kid you not, is Spicy.
Oh,
Cat's name is Spicy, and Spicy found a box. And I was more interested in this cat than the game, so I'm right there with you, Arwen. It also wasn't that exciting of a game. Like the Super Bowl wasn't a super exciting game.
oh no, that's not true. I didn't watch it, but when you look at the score, you can tell it was riveting.
There were a couple of moments where it was like neck and neck, where it was like, are they gonna score? But then, the Eagles kept like making plays that made it seem like they didn't really want it. It's like you're gonna run now, like when you're that far from the end zone, and you're gonna throw it, but it's gonna be limp. Like it's gonna be a limp throw. It's like, okay, I guess you didn't really want to win then. Or someone's paying you money to not win. You know, it's like
distrustful. How distrustful are you? Incredibly.
I'm so distrustful of when there's that much money involved.
Oh yeah, me too. Money helps aid in the distrust. I'm realizing
Exactly.
I'm very distrustful.
Like if they got paid like a normal wage, I would be more like, oh man, they just had a bad day. But now I'm like, oh, that was a limp throw. I guess he was betting against himself. Because it's millions of dollars we're talking about, you know?
Yeah,
And that's
got $1 million.
we gotta give this football player a bigger bubble butt here. He's he's in it for the cake. He's not in it. He's in
Going
it.
full football.
He's not in it for the money. He's in it for the cake. This guy. He's gonna even be saying some words. He's gonna keep your eyes on the ball, man.
You were smart to play football or even baseball. Those guys have some dumpers on them, man. Pitcher's got a big butt. Anyone remember that? I tend to watch sports movies for some reason as a kid in the 90s.
It gives the pitcher a better throw if he's got a bigger butt, though. You got more momentum to put into that swing.
Oh. We heard it here first. Coach.
It's science.
Voice. Okay.
All right, I want all you guys to get in the locker room and go to the gym. Don't go to the locker room. I don't know why I said that. I want y'all to go to the gym and get on the squat bar, and I need you to do 200 squats because you can't pitch unless you got a big booty.
Dude,
You're
this
pitch
drawing
pitch
has
slow.
hidden butts.
How many hidden butts?
I just found hidden butts
The
in the
team.
fucking. This has a timer on the screen and it has asses. It has 2 asses in the timer.
There's no timer on this screen.
No, in my thing it has a timer
Oh,
on the drawing. I'm referencing something.
these are
I'll show you in a
the
minute.
Pennsylvania Booties. This is the team.
Oh, you're gonna use some text in it.
Well, no, I'm just having there's a symbol on his helmet that's just a booty. Well,
Oh yeah, you gotta really amp up that logo. What would the Pennsylvania? I mean, you're just talking about football has a lot of money.
yeah,
You gotta have that
have that be
you gotta have
like
that real high grade logo.
stylized, like
They
really
asked for, right?
incredibly stylized. Legs, big old booty.
He's concentrating over there,
I am.
talking lower.
Some intense concentration here.
I'm making fucking geometry over here. Jeez, what do you want from me?
Ted Lasso. I haven't seen that show. What's that about? It's about sports. I understand, but like, how does he talk about them in a different way, or is he like engaging and entertaining? Does he actually give a shit about the human condition and the human side of sports and how?
He gets right into it. He's like right there already.
Like
What's
I just
the emotional impact?
like why are like I want to know the why. I think that's the biggest reason why I want to spark those conversations with people.
What's
Is
the
that
why, dude?
the why is almost more important than the how and the when
You know
and the
what a
where.
Korai statue is, bro?
I don't know anything about anything. That's why I'm doing this show.
What a Korai statue is? A Korai statue is a statue that was put in Greek gardens to represent their athletes, their people of strength and prowess.
That was
And,
their ESPN.
It was the Korai statue. And then let's not get into forget about what a Coliseum is. And these are really early ways to entertain and to keep the mass population distracted and connected, separate from a larger entity.
Yeah.
So that structure is historically eternal, it seems like. And whether you're a Korai statue in a garden or you're on a Wheaties box, you're still that same archetype. Sports athletes icons are so big, they're known by people that don't even watch sports, such as you and I.
Well, like I wouldn't know anything about Tom Brady if it weren't for him having gone to the Super Bowl so many times, though.
Now he has a movie 80s for Brady's. It's old
I'm
Sally Field and
so confused by that movie's existence.
demographic that they're trying to.
Like the 10 people that probably exist that,
No, man, it's like a last ditch effort to
or
get
maybe
back in film and.
maybe I don't know anything about marketing and market demographics, and there's probably way more people than I know about that like want that, like people who are old and also into football, people who
Yeah.
are into old ladies and also into football.
What?
Yeah. You don't think I'm gonna take it to that direction? Like maybe like they're okay, like rudeness or like
Oh.
smuttiness aside, there is something for everyone and everyone likes something.
Yep.
And it's not always the same. So maybe there is a market for that and I didn't even know.
Here's a good example of that. I didn't read comics a lot as a kid. I got into some comics more when I was a little older for drawing purposes, and that would have been Image Comics, Spawn, things like that. But not a reader so much of Marvel, and maybe a little Batman with DC, but not a Superman guy. Anyway, seeing that there's movies out for years, and I got on board to an extent, and now I'm losing my drive. I'm losing my drive with my things I like Star Wars and stuff. I'm just getting
This is too much.
too,
Too
too
much.
burnt out on
Too much.
too many options. I don't need all that, and it's problematic for having ADHD. So I'm taking a break. I haven't even seen Andor and a lot of this stuff, and I don't necessarily.
I wish
care.
they started with Andor. I wish they had gone from Mandalorian to Andor, because like the other ones seem like they're fan service. It's like, oh, we know what happened to Obi-Wan. I don't really need that story. And I heard Andor is really good, which is why I wish I wasn't burnt out on the stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of the nerdy things are actually doing that to me recently as well, where it's like I've explored these worlds. I want new worlds.
Yeah. So you and I are going to create our own.
We're gonna create our own.
So if you feel the same, we got you covered. Get
Yeah.
something for you. If you're not creating your own world, there's two being created right here.
Two butts.
Yeah, two butts. Maybe have a tuba.
I liked Boba Fett, but everything was too clean. A lot of these shows, these new shows are they're not good at weatherizing their sets or aging the armor or clothing. Like everything looks like they just bought it from a store.
One big example for me is recently I watched Willow.
Yeah.
And Willow was one of my favorite fantasy movies growing up. And there's a lot that I could say that was decent, but there's a lot that was, for that reason, sucked, because it retained some of the darkness, but the aesthetic of how good things look and shooting on digital versus film, the duration of the shots, everything had to be recontextualized for a new audience. But then the themes really take you out of it too, because there's a lot of secondary relationships. It seems like a teen romance a lot. And it takes me out of it. And it's hard. It's hard to get into.
Hard to care.
And I gotta go, at the end of the day, Willow was fucking a million years ago. That was a different time, brother. And you know what it felt like? It felt like CP didn't have kids, and CP should be watching this stupid movie with his 18-year-old or 17-year-old kid in a different world. Like, that's what it felt like. So it didn't quite work out.
Yeah, there's my contribution.
Come on, man.
What do you mean, come on?
Is that it? Oh yeah, because we're wrapping up. But
what do you mean? Is that it? That's a sports butt. He's also got his number is even butts, and then the team is a butt team. What, do you want me to give him a butt elbow too?
Your eyes on the balls. Oh my God.
Now he's got a butt. Yeah, 00.
You couldn't. Oh yeah, because that's a butt, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You did it, man.
I did. And now he's got a butt elbow too. He's got
football.
But,
butt him out a little bit. Butt that football out a bit.
I did. Look at the curves. I did.
Okay, fair enough.
Look, I could add some more rendering. You're right. I could render it some more. That's true. We could get some at least comic book rendering in here. Make it a bit more interesting.
So
we do have to wrap,
though. I'm not gonna have time to finish. I'm gonna give everybody a preview, because sometimes these things take me hours.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to just kind of get lost in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Second, let me just get details. Guide wire.
His arm's also not proportional.
Green, unfortunately. Here. All right, so I don't know if you can see this very well and get
Hold
a
on,
sense
let me get you on the bigger
for what
bigger
it's gonna
thing
be.
here. There we go.
Um,
Closer to the camera. Get it like really close to the camera so it equalizes the light, and then come back a little bit slowly. You might need to turn your light off and let the camera do its thing.
Let me move it a
Oh,
little
there
bit.
you go. Yep.
Have any idea what this is gonna be? Any idea, guys?
Oh man, it's hard to see.
Yeah, it's just sketched in
I
there.
see the 33. That's clever. It's two butts.
Yeah. And dude, the butts
Yeah,
are now
post
fine.
in the Discord. We'll bring it up. Erwin.
Okay. I'll do a whip. I'll do a whip for you.
Yeah, you can put it in a whip. Whiply. All right, so we are wrapping it up, guys. So we're gonna bring it a little bit away from the butts for our little outro here, guys. This has been Coffee and Contemplation. I'm Space Viking 42. We got CP Sketch.
Hey.
Gonna be a regular on the show for sure, helping me out with logistics.
Enjoying me having me here because I'm enjoying this and everybody.
Next week we are actually going to have a special guest. We are going to have on the show a music teacher who is teaching out of a school down in Keene, New Hampshire, who has been a good friend of mine. And we are going to discuss the nature of music in society and what it means for our souls and why we need it and why it's so important, why it's been so prevalent in our society. Like, I don't think there's a single society or group of people that doesn't have music or some kind of sound related something that's important for them, and like I want to get down to the depths of it, like we're gonna do a deep dig.
Oh, nice. Absolutely.
Her name is Alyssa Camo. She's a fantastic human being, and we are going to be talking to her next week. I don't know if we're going to be able to have her on video. We haven't really discussed that yet. I don't think she's on Discord, so I won't be able to use that for the video. I'm going to try. I'm going to speak to her this week and see if we can't get her on Discord.
Tell her to grab one up real quick, even if she deletes it after. Good to have.
What, an image?
Just a Discord,
Oh yeah. We'll get her. We'll see. It's just there's audio, as you've noticed. There's audio set up to worry about, and there's. So I'll see what she's got. She does have she did remote learning for a while. Could you imagine trying to teach music remote? Like that was rough for her from the conversations her and I had. We'll be having her on next week, and CP, I'll discuss with you. We're gonna have some set questions to ask her, and that sort of have to do with the different segments.
Okay, yeah, this will be even more structured. So we did the speed run, the fast thing.
A little bit
more discipline. I like this.
It's gonna be a little bit of structure, just because, like, with her having her day sort of structured as well. I don't want to like force her to stay on any longer than she has to, and also want to keep the questions to subject matter that she knows about. But we'll also keep it a little fluid because it might be interesting for her to be able to, just talk about what we're talking about that day. I'm going to structure it to not sort of structure it, but I'm going to make it so that we do still do our thing where we expand on the conversation as we go. But I know you got to get going, so we're going to wrap it up here.
Hey, I put the Discord, if you want to jump over and take another quick look. I did put the whip in the butts. I do have time to just take a quick look at that. And if you guys can guess what game it is, maybe there's a prize in it. Maybe I'll draw you butts. Huh?
Maybe
I never do that.
Maybe those butts will be like all buddy.
Maybe I'll draw Space Viking.
Oh, those are in the gauntlet. Arwen Rose, if you want to put that in there, we can take a look at it on the stream. I don't know if
You got it. but it's specifically aligned to a show I used to watch.
Oh.
I'll say
Oh, damn. The Ultimate Gladiator butts.
it was American Gladiator.
Oh, American Gladiator.
This is like the late 80s version, and there was some like later ones where you know who hosted it? You know who hosted the new American Gladiators?
Who hosted it?
Hold on a second, brother.
Who
We
did it?
got some gladiators. They're coming up. They're neck and neck. Now,
They're neck and neck.
This guy's gonna come up and grab, brother.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was Hogan.
That's great. Alrighty.
So, yeah, and I'm referencing just a still, and I want to show you. I'll show you quickly on my Bebop, Beep Boop Boop, Bleep Blorp on my camera because I couldn't find what I wanted.
Bebop.
This is a good trick. You pose,
Oh.
you find a YouTube video, right?
Yeah. And you pause it.
And then you find what you're looking for, and you do scrub through it, and you get that image, and that's one that was pretty good. And look at the timer. Couldn't have picked it better. I didn't make that up. It was 33. The world wanted me to pick that, and it funneled
That's
me into
perfect.
double
Oh my god, 30. 333 is actually one of those golden numbers, or one of those numerology. Something that I'm studying a little bit. It's some of it's freaky, some of it's fascinating. Sometimes it's they sort of get too deep into it. It's like nah, dude, nah. Some of it's freaky the way some of that shit lines up.
We'll put it on the podcast. My father
Good.
is someone who I think has undiagnosed ADHD, and he uses numbers to help create a code for himself, I think,
Oh,
to kind of get through.
that's something we could talk about sometime. Yeah, I mean,
Just realized that about him. I knew there was something with numbers, but he uses specifically numbers to help inform his reality in a way that I didn't know up until recently. So
damn.
we can get into numerology,
Yeah.
and because I don't know a lot about it, and
I don't either. That's something that might be a really interesting one to. We do some episodes of this where we all learn together, which is really fun to do. So that's it for the show, guys. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. After I do this little outro thing, we're gonna do a raid. CP, if you have to go, I understand.
Yeah.
Have a good time at whatever you're doing. I hope that it's.
Yeah, I'm gonna go kill this funeral right now. Hey, all right.
Well, that's what I mean by like. I hope that it's a healthy healing experience, because that's what it's supposed to be.
It's a thing. I went last night and that was fine. So yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll probably chat with you a little bit when I get back, just to take my head off of things. And if you want to do a continuation in the afternoon, if this is too short for you and you need more, hit me up. So
Sure.
but for now, let's get on with the day. And I wish you all a wonderful rest of your day, and keep thinking, keep contemplating, not to the point where it drives you crazy, but makes you feel good. Just tell yourself good things, make things better a little bit every day, and your life will be a lot more manageable.
Oh yeah, that never stop questioning thing, that goes for you as well. Question yourself, question your own reality. Kill that ego if you have to. Not everyone has to kill your ego. You don't have to kill it, but definitely dig deeper.
Thanks, Arwen.
Thank you. That does feel really good to hear. That's another thing about ego death is let's try and catch Sonnet while she's online this time.
Yeah, I think we can, because she must have just went on.
Oh, I hope so. I don't know for sure. Let's go raid Sonnet Silence. She's crocheting, I believe, again. Makers and Crafting.
This is the person I talk so much about, who makes the pizza cats and the pizza crocheted stuff. So she can hook you up.
Oh, your butt drawing is in Discord now. We can while we wait for the raid countdown, we can take a look at that.
I'm seeing a preview for
Swimming.
Cocaine.
That's a swimming booty.
Why are they
like
showing
it.
a preview for Cocaine Bear on her channel? That's awesome. Oh no!
Well, what is she doing now?
Look, it's soccer balls. Did you see it?
Yeah. Oh, it's soccer balls. That's clever.
Yeah, see,
I
soccer ball.
thought it was a swimsuit. Oh, that's clever.
It
I
is,
love
but
that.
She went deep, dude. You gotta look
She
at this.
did.
And then using the flower as the head.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
come on,
great.
that's fun.
I do love that.
Yeah, the back brassiere part's tough because like, how would you make that like soccer ball patchwork to work with that conform to that body where the butt soccer balls really like it have that roundness? There's
Yeah.
a hexagonal pattern that would be pretty cool. But yeah, anyway.
So we are about to raid the Sonnet Silence.
Yay.
It looks like she is also currently she's doing some of her regular art here.
All right.
She just changed her hair to red. Compliment her hair, guys.
Oh yeah, her hair is looking fire, dude. Literally, it's very bright.
It is very, very bright.
I always think it's a wig.
We are going to be rating the Sonnet Silence. I'm not sure what she's doing right now. She's doing wait again. It says battle pattern makers crafting. So I have no clue what she's doing. This is exciting. Viking raid from outer space. Why didn't the raid trigger? Sonnet Silence. Can we do the raid? Raid has been created. Okay, there we go. Okay. We're raiding now. We're going to the place with the stuff with the Sonnet Silence. Guys, copy that raid call out and throw it into our chat. Viking raid from outer space. If you're a sub, use the subs copy. If you're just a viewer, use the viewer copy. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here. This has been Coffee and Contemplation. Be well. God. There it goes. Okay.
Thank you for the
There she is.
But all I got was here.
RDCP, that was a blast. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Alrighty.
Okay,
Yeah, if you want to talk when you come back, just let me know. I'll be around. I'll be doing chores and stuff.
Space. Hi. Okay, hold on. We got a lot going on.
I appreciate it.
Figure out what number 7 is. We got